job out there. Do your job in life. And yeah, like Charlie and I would always go to Mainside on our days off, and we'd go to the Coffee Bean, and we'd get like mocha or like vanilla, white chocolate mochas, I think, or like hazelnut or some like specific coffee that tasted so good. It was, oh, it tasted perfect. It was the best coffee I've ever had in my life, and we would just like hang out. We'd go on Main Side, and we'd walk around because there's nothing to do in Afghanistan. On your days off, you can sleep. Usually you sleep. Maybe you eat a lot. Maybe you watch movies all day on your laptop. Like, maybe you go for a run. Like, dude, you kind of make your own fun, man. Like, that's it. There's nothing to it. And, God, I keep rambling. I gotta finish this story eventually. Uh, so at the end of the deployment, that's where I was. When we're starting to pack shit up, and we're starting to like ship stuff home. No, we're not yet. People are shipping things home, and we're starting to like do our end of briefs, and like I'm sending like people like messages on Facebook for like when I'm gonna be in Afghanistan. And I'm super fucking pumped, and we keep getting like our shit like pushed back, and like we weren't sure when we were going home, and like people were getting pissed. People were like, "What the fuck, man? Like, what's going on?" And like, when the fuck are we leaving? And like, you can't be there more than 180 days. Not 180. Like 7 months, 190 days. I think it might be 190 days. That sounds about right. That's like more than like 7 months straight. Like, you cannot be in country, or else they have to like pay you a ton of fucking compensation. And the Marine Corps they love to pinch a penny, so they're getting you out of there. So our time slated forward a few days, then back, then forward, then back, then like eventually locked in. And I told my family eventually, I was like, okay, I'm going to be another week. And so they came down. And so like I was telling my friends, I was telling G and Garner, my best friends, I was like, yo, this is when I'm coming in. I want you guys there. They're going to meet my family. And it was really cool. So I'm like picking something off my face. Ew. And you're like throwing away care packages. You're giving away stuff to the people who are relieving you. They're cleaning your room. You're like counting down the days. Dude, I remember I would smoke every night, and it was just so cold. And I remember just, I don't know, like I would smoke and just reminisce. I would just talk to all my friends. All the people that I had grown closer with over the deployment and over the years. Like, dude, that fucking brotherhood, man, like, that's a real thing. Like, maybe people feel it differently. I think that's what it is. People feel it differently, but, like, dude, it's totally there. Like, it's there. I feel it. I know what that is. And, I remember, like, I was listening to music, and I remember just kind of, like, counting down the days and just eating food. And like by the time we were in the chapel, and the sergeant major was just like, well, here's our manifest, like here's our schedule now, boys. And he like reads it off, and he goes, pack your 72 bag, gentlemen. And like, and that's your 3-day bag. And he's like, pack your fucking bags, gentlemen. And we're like, rah! And like we fucking get up and we roll out, and we pack our fucking bags, dude. And everyone's throwing a ton of shit away, and like, you're leaving a bunch of hygiene supplies in the shower. Like, you're throwing away a bunch of garbage. You're throwing away your pillow. You're throwing away, like, your sheets. Because you can't take it with you. Because it's filthy. And it will never pass customs. You're crazy. And so, we just, like, eventually, we're sleeping on, like, plain beds. And, like, our rooms have passed inspection. And we're just like, hey, Clark. Because, like, my roommates were Clark, Pancake, Todd, Cevallos, and Conception. And we were like, yo, you guys want to go smoke some like Black and Milds? Like, I was like, you want to go smoke some fucking cigars, gentlemen? And I think everyone came out. Our whole room celebrated like the end of a deployment. We were like, what's going on, boys? Like, we fucking made it. And I was so like, it was nice. It was 6 people. Someone smoked cigarettes, but like, I remember I had a few cigars and cigarettes, and we all shared in the moment. Even Savalos rarely smoked, but like, when he did, he would smoke on occasion. Pancake Todd, me, and Clark smoked like fucking chimneys. And Conception didn't smoke, so I don't think he smoked anything. But like, that morning, we grabbed our bags with like the sun. And I remember I was like being a fucking asshole, and like Sergeant, like the people were telling me to shut the fuck up because I was like kind of running my mouth and I was like doing the bags. I remember Avi showed up late. Avi showed up with fucking coffee, fucking red-handed. Ooh, it was stone cold. And they were like, everyone go away. Avi, stand by. You're loading the next fucking truck by yourselves. And Charlie and I were like, oh, because they didn't fucking load the bags. They got coffee instead. Ooh, fucking traitors. And so I left. And I remember that last morning I got a coffee, my last green bean ever. And it was so sad. It tasted so good, but it tasted sad. My last good cup of coffee. My weapons were like, my weapon, I was like ready to get on the bus. And so we took the bus to like the C-130 part of town. And like we loaded, like all of our bags went through customs. You go through customs like 5 fucking times when you're getting out of Afghanistan and Manas. So we go through customs in Afghanistan, and we get on the C-130, and like, dude, when you're strapped in, like when you're like in line, you're excited. When you're on the bus, you're really excited. When you're in the customs, you're like really, really excited. When you see the plane, you flip out. When you walk towards it, you're like a fucking child. When you strap in, you're fucking peaked. It's the most excited I've ever been in my fucking life. Like, it would be rivaled by like my boot camp graduation day in terms of intensity. Like, I remember I put my headphones in and I timed this out perfectly because I wanted to do this. I told this to myself when I was in boot camp, that when I would fly off of Afghanistan, when the wheels would leave Afghani soil, I would be listening to Only in Dreams on the Blue Album by Weezer. And I was in that fucking plane, and I felt them start to like taxi, and I clicked play. And it started playing fucking Rivers Cuomo's, or not, I forget, Matt Sharp's the bassist, and it's just the and it's just like that fucking bass line that repeats. And we're taxiing. And I remember during the fucking, like, the rising action to the crescendo, I felt the plane take off, and Milroy looked at me, he was from Avi, and he fucking, like, gave me a fucking thumbs up and a fist, man. Like, we flew. And I heard, like, the crescendo of Only in Dreams, and I had my headphones turned up all the way, and I could still hear all of the fucking cheers from HMH 361 that we fucking filled that plane, dude. We rattled the fucking bolts in that fucking C-130, man. We had never been happier. That was like one of the greatest days of my life. I will never forget such a feeling of accomplishment. Like, I was kind of tearing up. I was rubbing my eyes. My eyes were kind of red. I had the sniffles. I thought that was a big deal to me. And I was like, we're flying to Manas, dude. We're like on our way home. You're like, just get me the fuck home, man. Like, I don't care. Just get me home, man. I don't care. Just do whatever. And so we get to Manas, and it's fucking snowing there. It's fucking beautiful, dog. Manaus was awesome. It's the greatest base, bar none. I love it there. And it was snowing, it was cold, and like I would go to bed at like we were there for like 3 or 4 days waiting for a flight out. And all you did was sleep and eat and muster once a day. That's it. You didn't work. You stood duty once like every other fucking day, maybe. Like for an hour or two. And like, dude, I would wake up at like 8 o'clock at night. I would go to the DFAC. I would eat, again, incredible sandwiches that rivaled Afghanistan. And it was all free. You'd eat as much as you want. You'd suck down 5 or 6 of those tropical blend V8s. That was my fucking juice, cuz. That was my drink. And loved it. The tropical blend was my favorite juice. I love juice. And so, like, but then all I would do is just, like, I'd play Pokemon. And I would, like, I'd guard weapons. And, like, I'd go, like, get food. And then I would go to the fucking bar, yo. You could drink at Manas if you were flying out of country. You would have, like, 2 beers you'd have 2 beers a day. 24-hour period, dog. They'd swipe your card. Unless you bribe the fucking, the nationals, the locals. Sometimes people did. I never did. And you would get, like, you could buy 1 beer, but you could buy any beer you wanted. And there was just, like, this 1 beer that was, like, we just called it Chernobyl No. 9. And we believe it was like this huge, like, 22 of, just as Ozdeka or Odessa, like some weird kind of, like, Russian word, and I couldn't read it. And I believe it was, like, it said 9%. But since it was Russian and probably unregulated, I believe it was higher. And I drank 2 of those beers, and I was fucking floating through a winter wonderland. Dude, I was so buzzed. I was fucking drunk, dude. I was like, I felt like high. I felt like a high that I hadn't felt in a long time. And yeah, I'd wander around. I'd smoke cigars. I wouldn't walk and smoke because you couldn't, but I'd hang out. I'd have my fucking black beanie on. I didn't salute anybody. I had you'd wear camis, but I had my big fucking coat on, and I would just fucking smoke cigarettes, dog. I would look so hip. I was a little piece of shit. Customs in Manas was a fucking nightmare, dude. You think getting out of Afghanistan is bad? Dude, getting out of Manas is fucking, like, that's where, like, war criminals are caught, dude. Smugglers do not make it through Manas. They checked everyone's bag, like, 5 fucking times. Like, dude, just everything. So you have to, like, pull everything out of your fucking bags, and you're expected to, like, reassemble your fucking, all your shit in, like, 30 seconds. Like, fuck you, Manas. You suck. You go through, like, 5 different x-rays. Like, then your bags get, like, cleared, and, like, they are not to be touched. And they have to be loaded a certain way, and blah, 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 and fuck you. And, yeah, dude, it's fucking nuts. Like, we just felt, we were there for hours, dude. And you're just, like, your patience is wearing real thin. And you go, I just want to go home. I don't give a fuck about any of this. Nothing matters. And eventually, we get back to our rooms, and all we have are our backpacks. And we're like, we're leaving in like 5 or 6 hours, guys. So, like, take a nap and eat food and whatever. But, like, we're rolling out. Doesn't matter how tired you are. You're fucking moving. And so I got on the plane. And it was like not a commercial plane. It was like a C5. I don't think it was commercial. It might have been. It was a big fucking plane, dude. It was huge. Like, I felt like it could load, like, it was a gigantic fucking plane. It was really comfortable inside. And I remember, like, I sat on the fucking plane, and I undid my boot bands. I took my boots off. I took my fucking socks off. I didn't give a shit. I, like, undid my belt. I undid